Hey, this is Alex with Grow How. I'm here in American Fork. That's in Utah for any of you that don't know. That's where I live. This is a Mormon church. Now, we're in the middle of a drought. This is 2021. This is the worst drought since something like 1953 or 4, I think. 2 or 3, maybe 3. I think it was 2 weeks ago. This lawn was green. And I bring this up because the Mormon Church and the church houses have been taking a lot of heat this year as being, well, green. And 2 weeks ago that would have been accurate for this place. This is a response to a conversation I'm trying to have on Facebook, and people are getting mad at me. And basically, even though this person knows me and should know better, is implying that I'm a liar. The thing is, whether or not you are an observant Mormon, whether or not you are what's known as a nuanced Mormon, or whether or not you just hate the church or the church hates you, it is an emotional response in Utah. It's very hard to be neutral here in that. And having watched the drought cycle in Utah for a lot of years, I will say that I have seen a lot of Mormon churches having very green grass at times where perhaps they shouldn't. Now, if you look there, it almost looks normal till you see that left end. Now, my approach, even when it's been implied that I'm a liar, is to go look at the situation. Again, I drove by here a couple weeks ago. It was a different situation than it is now. And in the landscape, you are going to find different situations, very potentially from week to week, or at least a couple weeks. It can change very quickly. Me personally, I'm happy to see that this drought, the church is not keeping everything as green as can be. I appreciate that. Again, that has not always been the case. And when you allow that to not always be the case, you've earned a little bit of the cynicism. And that's just the way it is. You can hate me for it if you're a solid church goer, but if that's your behavior, if that's what it leads people to believe, that's not on me. Now over here, you'll see the city. Now there are some really nice green areas there, but you can also see there are some very brown areas. I'm going to say that they've got some watering issues that are now showing up now that they're not overwatering. And the same can be said for here. I'll tell you right there, that's a broken sprinkler head. It's plugged or broken. That's okay. It would be nice for them to fix that, because then they'd at least be using their water wisely, but it's hard to keep up. Do I feel like I need to castigate the church this year? No, I don't. But again, in the past, they have been very, very, very much less aware of what they're doing. There are criticisms I could make. I'm not going to, because this year they're doing what they need to do. Let's run with that, and we'll talk about criticisms after at least after this intense heat is over with. You'll notice you've got some nice grasses here, water conserving grasses. We still got a lot of turf grass. Does the church need that much turf grass? Well, I don't know. Certainly we don't play on them like we used to when I was a kid. So there's clearly some effort. There's clearly some thought. And there's clearly a lot of grass. And a lot of it's yellow. And that's what I go with. I don't need to take an approach that this institution or this area is totally bad. What's happening is people are getting angry because they don't want to take responsibility for what they do. And the ones that do take responsibility do kind of get tired of feeling like the big guy's not involved. I can show you right here from this church. This is the third one I've been to today. They're all on the same road. This church has got people in charge that are taking responsibility, and the other churches, 3 churches, do too. Now, there might be some that are extremely green. I don't know. I haven't seen them. Now, if we walk back here, I want to point out we're in a shady area, and this is probably receiving approximately the same amount of water. It doesn't need as much in a shady area. It's still not lush green. There's a little bit of yellow. It's not bad. If I were managing this, and if I had the time, now I'm going to be very blunt about that. When you're working on a church property, you've got a lot of properties to maintain. Look, we've got green there, and then we've got yellow patches. Excellent. That lawn out there, hard to see. That's yellow. That's a good color. That one over there, I don't know if you can see it. You can see that strip of green. Does tend to be greener. I would, if I were managing, I'd go and look at that and see about turning it down. There you have it, guys. The complex issue is not that one institution is or isn't doing what they should. The complex issue is that we make assumptions and that things change. Yeah, sure, I would like to see the church do more. By getting rid of a lot of their lawn, they'd set a really good example up for their members and for the community. They're a spiritual organization, whether I like it or not. Their main goal really should not be making policies. I would rather see the politicians make policies that make it harder to plant turf grass. That's my call. Until it happens, churches, schools, the cities themselves are simply going to continue to have lush green turf grass that doesn't necessarily belong here. Something to think about. I'll catch y'all later. Manana.